These clips may be silent, but the images speak volumes. Megawatt stars visiting San Diego in the 1950s. Channel 8 was at the final rehearsal before the world premiere of Judy Garland's show at the Russ Auditorium. We bragged at the time that we had the first TV pictures ever shown of Judy in a dress rehearsal. The show featured the smiling bundle of energy that was Judy Garland and was packed with fun, music, and dancing, and included a cast of 40 others, including such names as Frank Fontaine and the Hi-Lo's. It was like nothing they had ever seen before. You can't hear their screams, but their faces say it all. Elvis was in the building, and it was pure pandemonium. More than 4,000 youngsters jammed into the San Diego arena, the audience mostly made up of teenage girls squealing and swooning. The screams of the audience drowned out most of the King's performance. Police said later that some parents complained that the show wasn't appropriate for juveniles. Julie Garrett was a local singer and was paid $50 to be the opening act. 30 years later, in 1986, she shared her memories with us.
I could definitely see why the girls were going crazy and screaming, because at that time nobody did anything like that. He had that charisma that only a superstar has.
Screen legends Clark Gable and Burt Lancaster arrived at Lindbergh Field and were greeted by a contingent of naval officers. The actors were in San Diego to shoot their film Run Silent, Run Deep, a war story based on a novel by Commander Edward Beach. They met with officers, signed autographs, and went aboard the USS Sperry submarine. The stars were out for Jimmy Durante Day, where the turf meets the surf. Seen in the stands at the Del Mar racetrack, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. War hero turned movie star Audie Murphy. Singer Hoagie Carmichael. Dennis Crosby being son and his wife Pat Sheehan, and actor George Raft. He was a horror film legend, but when he visited San Diego State, Vincent Price demonstrated some of his other talents. It was a packed house as he presented a dramatic program entitled Three American Voices. These were the three giants of literature, art, and drama: Walt Whitman, James A. McNeill Whistler, and Tennessee Williams. The tall, distinguished movie star also answered a series of questions from his huge audience. In addition to his movie work, Price had a wide variety of interests, including art, anthropology, and archaeology. It was September 21st, 1959. 19-year-old rock and roller Ricky Nelson flew into town Saturday afternoon for a swing session at Westgate Park, and the girls went wild. He was brought here under the auspices of the Fiesta del Pacifico. His managers were afraid he might be mobbed, so he was given heavy police protection, and it was a good thing. More than once, the girls started to move in on the stage and had to be held back. Ricky's used to it. He lost his shirt to a mob in Louisiana and had the doorknob torn off his hotel room at Indianapolis. He managed to escape Westgate Park simply because his friends had a car with a motor running parked behind the stage. When he left in a hurry. The girls clapped, hooted, hollered, and cried real tears while Ricky strummed his guitar and warbled away. In the 1950s, there was no star bigger than Marilyn Monroe. We were on the set of Some Like It Hot, and here is how it was described on our newscast. The staid old Hotel del Coronado hasn't seen anything like it in years. The day Marilyn Monroe came to Coronado, Marilyn and hundreds of extras, technicians, and sightseers. Among the co-stars, Joe E. Brown, who, as always, had much to say. And finally, Marilyn arrived, fully guarded by her husband, playwright Arthur Miller. This was the first movie making in 2 years for the still shy, still very beautiful Marilyn. She plays the role of a misfit with an all-girl orchestra in the Roaring '20s. Billy Wilder directs Some Like It Hot, but today it was all Marilyn Monroe. This is who the crowd came to see, and they were not disappointed. Tony Curtis brought along his wife, Janet Leigh. A crowd of onlookers, and Marilyn paused long enough to pose for our flabbergasted cameraman.